What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Let me go ahead and share this out because y'all see that the notification didn't go out, but I told y'all I'll be back at 10 o'clock. So we're gonna talk about this Mary Cosby interview, child. We're gonna talk about this Mary Cosby interview, and I did put Sharrell's World name in the title because Sharrell's World was the one that did the interview. What's up, little baby? And my question is, did this interview cause Cosby to quit the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Because let's be clear, that interview dropped a lot of tea. Now, some of the stuff we'd heard before, some of it has kind of already been out there, but baby, this interview dropped some tea. So let me go on and share this out, and we're gonna go ahead and get started because I'm not gonna be here long. We're gonna go over this tea, honey, and then I'm gonna try to. I gotta get to some. I ain't looked at Ready to Love yet, so don't put nothing in the chat. Don't spoil nothing for me because I ain't looked at it yet. Let me get to my notes, okay? So first of all, the person that what's up, Zach? The person that Shirelle was interviewing was Mary Cosby's cousin. I think I said it was her uncle, but it wasn't. It's her cousin Dan. Now this whole thing is surrounded about Mary's church being an alleged cult, right? Not being a church, but being more of a cult. Now, I have my notes, so I might be all over the place, child. I thought it was all over the place, but I'm gonna try to. I wrote everything down because I want to make sure I mention everything as we go through this. Because y'all know, child, we get to talking and then we'll go left. Hey Ellen, how you doing? I saw that they were pushing Mary to do since the beginning of this cult storyline this season, and I see they succeeded. So what you saying, little baby? You saying you feel like that they were pushing her to quit? I ain't want to give Shirelle a view, but damn it, I guess I might. Listen, I'm gonna say this because now let me say this, and I have some questions in here. I ain't gonna lie, I have some questions in here. Hey, Drinks with D, where you been, boo? How are you? Because I ain't saying that we're gonna go through it because some of the stuff I do have some questions. Okay, I got some questions. So let me just start and go through my notes. So first of all, we're talking about Mary. So the cousin is alleging that this is a cult, right? That Mary's church is a cult. He's saying it didn't start off as a cult. His grandmother ran the church and it was legit. She was a holy woman. She had the church in Salt Lake City, and then she had the church in Indiana, which we heard about that before when we heard the other interviews last year, that they're two different churches, right? Oh, you felt they were trying to get her off the show. I got it. Okay. So what he's saying is that his grandmother built this church up. They had multiple businesses. She was a woman of God. And what he said is, now let me say this, all this stuff is allegedly, because I don't know these people, okay? I'm just repeating what he has said, okay? I don't know it to be true. So don't come for me. But what he said was, I always question why all of this now, since her background was scandalous before Salt Lake City was even taped for a reality show. Hey, what's up, Naturally Mar? Well, I get that point too, but I think we can always ask that question when stuff comes out. We can always ask the question, why now? You know what I mean? Like I think that's always a question, is why now? I don't know what to say. Now, what he said was that Mary and the grandmother actually fell out, and that Mary had actually gotten kicked out of the church prior to her grandmother's passing. And this is what he said. He said that after the grandmother passed, that the husband, Robert, reached out to Mary, bought her a BMW, and then they started hanging out, and that's how that whole thing went down. He said that his grandmother never said anything about they were supposed to marry and all of that, but the grandmother did express regret over the fact that he was so much younger than her and her not being able to give him kids and the things that he may have wanted because he was younger. But she ain't say nothing about him marrying her granddaughter. And this is according to the cousin, okay? This is according to the cousin. Oh, you keep missing lives because of work. Well, I'm glad you can make it tonight, boo. I'm glad you can make it tonight. And this is what the cousin has said, okay? He said that at this point in time, Mary has basically run all of the businesses into the ground. And we heard that last year as well, because they the other cousin they interviewed last year, his name was Ernie, I believe. It starts with an E, Ernie, Earl, something along that way, child. But he said the same thing, that basically a lot of those businesses are now defunct. I think he said right now the most, I guess, profitable business outside of the church that they have is the daycare, which is run under the church. I think it's run through the church or whatever. But they had multiple businesses. They had a billboard business, an event planning business. They had multiple businesses that basically all of them are defunct at this point. He was like, I can't tell you the last time that the event planning did an event, which is really silly because she could be having the event planning company do all of her events on the show. Like that's crazy, right? He said that basically the majority of their income is coming from the church at this point, and that they have the members paying them. And Sharrell said, well, how is that happening? How is that happening? And he said, well, mainly through tithes, and then they make these pledges. So the tithes, we know, any church you go to, they're going to tell you to pay your tithes. Ain't no church out here where people ain't asking for their tithes and offerings. So let's just throw that out the window. He said the pledge system started under his mother. And it was because in the early days of the church, people would make pledges and they would pay it over a certain amount of time. And that was to help build up the church. Again, that's not anything new. I've been to churches before. Y'all know these churches with these building funds and the scholarship funds and this, and this. And people might pledge, okay, I'm going to donate $500 to the building fund. And then they have a certain amount of time to pay that $500. So that's nothing new either. But what he was saying was that, I guess the way that he said that they start making phone calls. They make phone calls on, I wrote it down, child. They make phone calls on the 9th and on the 30th when they telling people they need money. So they're actually calling people and soliciting money from the members. Let me read the chat. I'm going to pause. I thought that I heard on another page that Mary was married to someone else, but Robert and Mary said that God wanted her to marry him. Yeah, I heard that as well, that she was already married. Yeah, I did hear that as well. Mary was also already married. Right. Mary was married. Her husband moved in with Robert. Robert helped Mary get divorced, and then they got married. Yes, I absolutely heard that as well last year. Because some of this stuff we heard last year when I think 2 of her family members did interviews with Sharrell's World last year, and I watched them. I don't remember all the details, but I did watch them. And so, yeah, we're going to get into that, Ellen. I got some information on the Carlton situation and some other people who did the same thing. There was a guy that committed suicide. He had mortgaged his house and he couldn't make the payments. He mortgaged his house and he donated the money to the church, and he couldn't make the payments on his own, the mortgage, and he was getting ready to lose his house, and he ended up committing suicide. His wife actually, now they were in Indianapolis, and his wife actually, okay, I'm getting out of order. The cousin also said that another way that they were making money was that in the summertime, they have these cookouts and stuff, and they sell all over, I guess Salt Lake City. And they even have a contract with the University of Utah where they sell food at the tailgate before the football games. And so that's another way that they were making money. And this guy who committed suicide, his wife was one of the cooks, and Mary would fly her out on the weekends to come and cook. And they said that sometimes his wife would be on her feet for 14 hours a day cooking to sell this food or whatever. The church ran a mortgage right. They had a mortgage company, and yep, that Just Jonda, yep, we talked about that. That came up last year, that they had this mortgage company, and that's how they were getting people's property. They were scamming people out of their property. Absolutely. Allegedly. All this allegedly, because I don't know these people. Allegedly. Mary's mother sued Robert and the church administrator who ran the mortgage company. The case went all the way to, yes, the Utah Supreme Court. Absolutely. What's up, Brandon? You leaving work? Okay, boo. You be safe out there on that black ice. Aren't you, Brandon? Don't you live in the area? You live in my area, right, Brandon? Maybe not. Don't tell me where you live. If you live in my area, be careful on that black ice. If you don't live in my area, still be careful, baby. So yes, absolutely. Everything you're saying, Jonda, absolutely it came up. Absolutely, absolutely. So now that's the other thing that they said too. They said that Mary's mom was supposed to get that church. And the mother, we heard that story as well about how her and her mother do not get along. And her mother ended up starting her own church, and we know that whole thing went down. But they said that Mary is not an ordained minister, that basically Robert gave her the title of minister, and that's that. He said Mary ain't never even graduated from high school. I'm going to just let that sink in. He said Mary ain't never even graduated from high school. Now, listen, I ain't looking my nose down on somebody that didn't graduate from high school, but she looks her nose down on everybody. She has this elitist attitude about everybody. And so I find it interesting that he's alleging she never even graduated from high school. Now, that's what he's alleging. Again, I don't know. That's what he alleging. Okay. The court did ultimately find that Robert squandered the estate, and Mary's mother, Rosalind, got a judgment against him for $1.7 million. What? $1.7 million? Man. I can believe that because Mary can't talk, let alone preach. You ain't lying about that. Y'all see how Mary she gets tongue-tied and she can't explain nothing? What's up, Pinky Tinky? She made a big deal because no one grabs her coat. Right, okay. Mary ain't never looked right to me. All right, y'all. So these are some of the things that he's saying. That she had no formal training to be a minister, that basically her husband just gave her the title. And at this point, he's turned everything over to her. Like, even if members are calling and reaching out to him, he tells them, call Mary. He's basically retired. They said the only time that they see Mary, the only time they see Robert is when they filming. Notice, remember at the beginning of season 2, she said that he got stuck in Florida because of the COVID. He said the only time they see Robert is when them cameras are around. Other than that, Robert be MIA. Okay. What's up, Chloe? Chloe, girl, me and you gonna have to do we're gonna have to do a conference. I'm gonna have to come over to your place or something. We're gonna have to talk about these new this new crew of Married at First Sight. I did watch it, and I'm gonna give y'all a review. Y'all will probably get that review tomorrow. Baby, I know they better stop wasting my time with these 3-hour damn episodes. They doing too much. But anyway, let's get back to Mary Child. So the other thing he said, are they separated? I don't think there's any type of legal separation. I think they're just kind of living. Well, we're gonna get into that Pinky Tiki. All right, hold on, y'all. Because I got all these notes. Let me make sure I said what I said, child. They called the members. Okay. Mary got kicked out the church. Okay. All right. I didn't say that part yet. Okay. Didn't graduate from high school. I said that part. Okay. He said that that they are in financial problems. He said they are in financial trouble, and that he would not be surprised. He said he's heard rumors that they've started selling off some of their property, and he wouldn't be surprised to find out if they are actually selling off some of the property, and that the property is on the market. Okay, none of the businesses are really functioning. I said that part. He said that Mary probably needs the show, which is interesting that she didn't show up for the reunion, because that probably means that she fired. But he said that she needs the money, that they are in financial trouble, and that's probably part of the reason why she agreed to do the show. I said that Robert stepped down. Okay, we're going to get to that next. Okay, I think I got, okay, so, all right, I'm caught up on my notes. Okay. No formal training. I said that. Okay, I said that part. Okay, all right. About the guy that committed suicide. Okay, so let's stay with the church, and then we'll get to Cameron. What's up, CC Freak? Hey, boo. We'll let's stay with the church, and then we'll get to Cameron, and then we're gonna get to some of these other accusations as well. So some of the other stuff with the church that there was a elderly gentleman who they were getting $30,000 a month from. Now I don't know how much money this man had, but $30,000 a month average. They said average. And that they reached out to his family and told his family that they needed to look at his bank accounts because he was giving all his money to the church. Mary does call herself God. He gave examples of the thing, like Mary doesn't come right out and say, I'm God. But Mary does things like if she walks into the room, she'll say, God just walked in. And so, of course, you would think that maybe she's talking about the spirit, that God is within her. But that's what she does when she speaks of herself as God. She says it like that. She doesn't come right out and say, I'm God. She said that to Cameron. We're going to get to Cameron in a second, but she would say stuff like that to Cameron when they were sleeping together. Allegedly, they had this affair, allegedly. And she would say to him, you know, you just had sex with God. Like she would say that to him, allegedly. And I don't want to say too much about Cameron because he's really not here to defend himself. And I feel like they are dragging this man through the mud. But I am going to say what was said. I am going to say what was said. I've broken down the marriage situation and legal documents several times on my podcast. It's a mess. Child, yes. Mary speaks and writes like an illiterate person. She is not. So it's not surprising she didn't graduate from high school. Her tweets are sad, right? And Shirelle even had screenshots of text messages that she sent to her cousin to him, and she said it's horrible. I did, Tamara. All of that stuff is sent out. Well, some of it's still, but it's all sent out. So I did get your email. Thank you so much. And thank you again for being a member. I hope you enjoy your gift when you get it, baby. If someone says, oh my God, I might answer yes. I think some people play around with it. And so again, this goes back to the allegations of it being a cult. Like we know that that's one of the characteristics of a cult is that the people see themselves as God. And that's one of the things, you know what I'm saying? Again, I'm just giving y'all the information. Y'all can dissect it how y'all choose. Because some things he said, I had to kind of question. I'm going to get to the things that I had to kind of be like, things that make you go, For example, I'll go ahead and throw that out here. For example, he was saying how they're down to like 30 members. Like they don't have anybody in the church. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if they're down to like 30 members, how are 30 members maintaining this lifestyle? That we see on TV that Mary is a shopaholic and she's a hoarder and she just got shit on top of shit on top of shit. If the church was once this big, booming, prosperous church that had thousands of members or hundreds of members, okay, I could see it. But we're down to 30 members. You mean to tell me, because, I mean, somebody being able to give them $30,000 a month, that's an anomaly. Like, that's one rich benefactor. That's not the average Joe. And I know that Salt Lake City got some high rollers. I get that. But they also got some poor people too. So I don't know. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying he's lying, y'all. I'm just saying these were things that as I was listening, I had to kind of be like, interesting. The other thing he said that made me have to kind of go, was he talked about the fact that Mary is never at that church, right? They said they ain't seen Mary in a month of Sunday. They said Mary ain't been at that church since they had the earthquake last year. But when they filmed that episode where they filmed Mary at the church, they said that's the first time that Mary had been in that church in a long time, and that they turned it into like friends and family so that they would get a crowd. They told everybody to bring a family member or bring somebody, and that's why they had the crowd there. But here's another thing that makes me go, both Whitney and Lisa made it seem like they frequented that church. Not, we went that one time that the cameras were in our face. But they, on the show, made it seem like they had been to that church more than one time. So either they're exaggerating for the purposes of proving their point about Mary and the church, or he's exaggerating to make it seem like Mary ain't never at that church, and maybe she's at the church more than he say she is. I don't know who's telling the truth, but that did make me go, because I was like, both Lisa and Whitney, who, let's be clear, I'm not saying that Lisa or Whitney have a whole lot of credibility. I'm just saying. But both of them made it seem like they have been to that church more than just the time that the camera was in their face. But I don't know. Mary is not the cash cow. Bravo has already picked them up for a third season, and they're going to start taping right away. So they run into Jen Shaw's case. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about that earlier. Just John. Absolutely. They are literally going to be there. They're going to start filming in like 2 weeks, because they were going to immediately go back into filming because they want to get Jen Shaw when she goes back to court. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, because like I said that earlier, they're already committed to a season 3. And they may even give it a season 4 with or without Mary. They're going to give it a season, even if the ratings drop next season. They're going to give it at least, because I see them do that with these other shows. They're not so quick to cancel a Housewives show. Generally, I mean, I know Real Housewives of DC was a flop. I mean, they had one season, it was one and done. But you saw, even with that, they revamped it and they brought it back as the Real Housewives of Potomac, which is basically the Real Housewives of DC all over again. But they changed the focus. I think, and this is, okay, let me put a pin in this right now. This is what I was trying to explain to my Ready to Love people about when they did Ready to Love DC. DC is just a different animal. That Real Housewives formula doesn't work when you're dealing with politicians and people who have security clearance and people who have, like, that's their livelihood. It's a different beast. You know, I mean, it's one thing to be a doctor in private practice, or a lawyer, you know, or a business owner, you own a casino or whatever. It's something different when you work for the government and you have a clearance and you just can't be dealing with certain shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? Like when that couple tried to sneak into that, or they did actually sneak into that White House event and they got that on camera. See, that's the shit they're not going to do. They're not going to play that game with that's national security. Like, that's not a joke. That's not something you do for a TV show, that you sneaking into a White House event. Like, that's not cool. And a lot of people got embarrassed, and I promise you, a lot of people lost their job over them being able to sneak into a White House event with Bravo cameras following them. Like, come on. The church was never a mega church. It had a couple of hundred members at most. Then half left when Mary's mom, and then Mary and Robert half preaching, the rest fell apart. Right. And so that's why I'm saying, like, how are they maintaining this lifestyle if they're living off of people's tithes and offering? I don't know. Bravo always manages to figure it out. Salt Lake City has a huge population of mega rich young Mormon women. They have the bomb. Yeah, they bomb the bomb pages on IG. Yeah, they're definitely going to get. They'll find somebody. I mean, Mary definitely brought a certain something to the show, but they'll get somebody. I heard Potomac was supposed to be more etiquette based, which explains the convo from the first season. Yeah, but you see, that went downhill, child. That went downhill fast, child. Right. All right. So let me get back to this, child. Okay. So, all right. I just want to keep up with my notes, child. I want to keep up with my notes. I told y'all that part, how they say Mary's never at the church. Okay, let's talk about the son. And again, I don't want to bring the kids into it too much, but something he said, it made it make sense. No. No, Omarosa didn't do that. And even if she did, that was under the Trump administration, and don't none of that shit count. Okay? All right. So, he said that the son, Robert Jr., and this makes sense going back, and I even said this in my review from season 1 when Mary was talking to her son, and she was talking about him going to military school and this, and this. And I was like, none of that, and she wasn't sure about him going to college. And I said, none of that made sense to me. Because I said, I know he's at the best private school, or one of the best private schools in Salt Lake City. I'm sure he's been given all the opportunities and privilege. Why are they talking about military school? Why are they talking about him not going to college? Like, generally, people from that mindset. Either he's got a business that he's about to go, but they send him to college. But now it makes, if what he's saying is true, it does make sense now. He said that Robert Jr. is in legal trouble, that he has been arrested on a lot of little, like, juvenile type offenses. They said that he also has been threatened with military school, like either going into the military or going to jail. That he's been selling marijuana, and I was gonna say weed, child. But my thing is, why is he selling weed in Utah? Now, again, that sort of makes sense now with the conversations that Mary has with him, has with her son, about what is he going to do with his life, and is he going to get it together, and he needs to do more than just sit around the house. So, yeah, there's something happened during the off season about one of his friends coming to stay with them, and Mary being accused of parental interference because the child was a runaway, and Mary let him stay there. Yeah, but we see that they had already done filming, and it ain't nothing, they ain't bringing nothing out of that. But again, that does make sense now to how Mary sort of acts with her son. Because again, she's not talking to him like this is a young man that's on his way to college and all of that stuff. Okay, so I'm in the DMV area. I have 2 male friends, fellow lawyers, who were approached about it via Instagram. They said, hell no, DC is very reputation based. Notice no doctors. Right. And just John, we talked about that when I was on the Ready to Love panel on Kamisha Reviews channel. And I was trying to explain that to them, and people were like acting like I was making it seem like, well, it's like that in other places. And I'm like, no, like people don't understand this like, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I don't want to lie. But the majority of people here in this area work for the government, whether they work directly for the federal government or the state level government, or they work through a contractor. And in order to work certain jobs, you have to have a clearance. And the clearances go in layers. And those top clearances, take sometimes 2 or 3 years of investigation. I've had to talk to people, for friends of mine who were getting a high clearance. They've interviewed me. How long have you known them? Blah, 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 blah. Like, that shit ain't no joke. And that's your livelihood. And people don't understand how something as simple as maybe you getting drunk on a TV show, even though you grown, how that could affect your job. Like, I know people want to be like, I mean, it's no different than anywhere else, but it is. DC, like, people, you just have to live here to understand it. Like, I can't explain it. Y'all just got to live here to get it. Because of that, Mary should not be asked back. Well, CC Freak, I don't listen, unless she had a really, like, she better say that she had the Omarion or something. And even then, and again, we won't find out until the reunion if she did have a legit reason for not being at the reunion. All we know right now is that her ass didn't show up. But for all we know, maybe she had the Omarion and she called Bravo, and Bravo, or maybe she got her test came back positive. Maybe she did show up, but her test came back positive and she wasn't on the couch with Andy, but maybe they brought her in via satellite. See, again, a lot of stuff we might, we get bits and pieces and insider sources say and this, but maybe there might be a reason. We don't know. All we know right now is that her ass ain't show up. Because like the Real Housewives of Dallas, all of them actually showed up, but 2 of them tested positive and they had to stay in their hotel room. It isn't too far-fetched to believe that, considering he can be out all night and never call in. She never wonder where he is or appear to care. Right. Adrienne Maloff skipped the reunion and that was the end of her on the show. Right. Same thing with Lisa Vanderpump. Didn't somebody else, maybe it's Adrienne I'm thinking of. Yeah. And she never came back to the show. Or their clients are government officials and they don't want to be associated. Well, that too, depending on who your client is. Yep. As a former investigator, we looked at your associates' alcohol use and does your finances match your lifestyle. And please know they looking through social media. Please know that. I promise you. That's the first thing they doing. They have a friend of, well, he's my cousin. The government agency that he works for, now this is not his job. This is not what he does. But this is a division of where he works. People who are getting workman's comp, they have a whole division set up now where all they do is scrub people's social media. People who are on workman's comp or on disability, all they doing is scrubbing your social media to see what you got going on while you out here on disability. And that's a government agency. I'm just telling you. Nene left during the regular and wasn't asked back, right? The only person that missed the reunion and still kept her job was Jacqueline from Jersey. Really? Well, why she missed the reunion, Brandon? Even those of us who do not work for the government, DC is not an entertainment town. Reputation and associations are handled a lot differently here. Listen, Just Jonda, I wish you had been over there, baby, because I was trying to explain that to them. And the other thing that people need to understand about DC is Black DC, it's very much a class system in Black DC, especially old Black DC. Baby, your family been here 2 or 3 generations. It is a class system here. You have a lot of Black Washingtonians who have pedigree. They are 3rd and 4th generation college, 3rd and 4th generation sorority, fraternity, 3rd or 4th generation government workers or whatever, educators. It's a very, very large community of educators. Like, listen, it's a different world here in DC. I don't know what else to tell people. I can understand it's about education and pedigree. It really is. And people don't want to accept that, but it is. Next week, when those cast photos come out, it's going to tell us everything we need to know about whether Mary came. That's true. That is true. That is true. All right, now let's get into this Cameron situation, because I know that's what y'all want to hear. Let's talk about this Cameron situation. Now, allegedly, Cameron was dating Dan's daughter. Now, remember, Dan is the cousin. Cameron was dating Dan's daughter, and she claimed she was sick, but her and Teresa had a big fallout starting in season 3 and it lasted 2 more years. Oh, I see. Now, according to Dan, Mary and her husband were counseling his daughter and Cameron, because they would break up and they were going through things, and Mary was basically counseling them to break up, telling him that they needed to break up, that it wasn't a good match, that they needed to, that they weren't meant for each other. And he eventually did break up with the daughter, and soon after that, Mary basically came on to him. Mary, now this is the story he told, that Mary sat on his lap and took his hands and put his hands up her skirt. And y'all know what happened next. He said that from there, a full-on affair started between Cameron and Mary. Full-blown affair. That the husband knew about it. And basically the husband told him, you keep making her happy. Because, when she happy, she leave me the hell alone. So y'all do what y'all do. They said that Cameron, now this is the part, this is one of those things that I had a little question mark on, because he said that the husband knew about Cameron's affair, but Cameron would sneak in and out the house. So my thing is, if the husband know that y'all getting it in, why you sneaking in and out the house? Now, he said that he would hide from the maids. But then one day, he said that Cameron came out of Mary's bedroom at 3 a.m. and saw his brother there, Mary's cousin, who I don't know why the man was there at 3 a.m, but he came out the bedroom to get something out the refrigerator, out the kitchen. They saw each other, and he was like, "What's up, bro?" So was they hiding or was they not hiding? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said was they. Were they hiding or were they not hiding? Because it don't make no sense to me now. Your story is a little contradicting right there. Either they were hiding the affair from people, Or he's coming out the bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning to go get him some water out the refrigerator. Now, do I believe that Cameron and Mary were sleeping together? Probably, because I sort of picked up. I got that feeling from the show. When he was on the show, I got a feeling that it was something more went down between him and Mary than just listen. And that's the one that mortgaged his house for $300,000 allegedly. Those women on Potomac would never be accepted in ODC. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Nope. Not at all. The closest that any of them would come, if I had to pick one person out of the cast that could come close to being in that circle, right now, I would say Karen. Before the show, I would say Robin. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Robin comes from second and third generation college. Her father's a dentist. He's a Kappa. You know, like, she comes from that pedigree. But now, during the show, the only person that I would say that I could see Karen. I could see Karen. But before the show, before she showed her ass on national TV a few times, I would say Robin. She's local. Remember, she's from here. She went to the University of Maryland. Even outside of being married to Juan, her family is, but they from Baltimore. They not DC old money. They Baltimore, which is different. People don't want to accept it, but baby, different. But you talk about a different world. Baltimore and DC, they 40 minutes apart, but baby, they might as well be 40 hours apart. Okay. It's the same thing in old money, black Atlanta. Those families would never allow any of the Real Housewives to sit on their lawns. Right. And that's why we've talked about that before, Just Jonda over here, why they have such a hard time finding new people to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because, it's just different people. I actually burst out laughing when the visual of Mary hopping on Cameron's D and telling him that, child, I could see Mary doing it too. Miss Toby, am I lying? Tell me I'm lying, Miss Toby. You tell me I'm lying. Mary needs to counsel her a new way. Listen, Mary's wigs be bad. Like, listen. There's a difference between having an affair and doing it in the spouse's face. Right. And that's what I'm saying. But according to the cousin, the husband knew about it and the husband was cool with it. Now, that's according to the husband. Now, I mean, that's according to the cousin. That's what the cousin has said. Remember, Mary has a child and several family members were working for her, so there would be a reason to hide. That's true. I'll accept that. You're right. I could see that, Miss Jonda. I could see that. So, let me make sure I got all my notes, y'all. Because I'm telling you, it's the interview itself is probably maybe 30, 35 minutes long. And then she does a panel. She brings the panel up and asks him questions and stuff like that. Okay, now here is probably... Okay, before I get to the most damning accusation, let me get this out of the way. Mary has made comments. We know that she done talked about black people. She said that if she saw black people hanging out in front of the 7-Eleven, she would keep driving. We know she done talked about the Mexican people, saying all of them is in the cartel. We know she done talked about Asian people. Well, now, what's up, Kamisha? Hey, boo. Well, now they got text messages of her cussing out the cousin, calling him the N-word, which, black people call each other that, But her talking about white women and white people. And she was talking about white people were vile and they don't take care of their children. They got that in a text message. So, again, her making racist comments are not isolated situations. But here's the most damning accusation. And let me say this is all allegedly. Thank you, Kamisha. Allegedly. The only person that would have come close prior to being on the show would be Giselle because of her look, being an AKA from Hampton, and her husband was a pastor. However, she ruined that. I could see that. But Robin's a Delta, so I mean, both of them are Divine 9. But I could see that. because her husband was a former first lady. Yeah, her she has pedigree too, because I think Giselle's dad is a Kappa, so we know that she's at least second generation college. So yeah, you're right. Giselle could have been. You're right. You're right. Mm-hmm. Right, little baby. We ain't forget about that audio of Mary cussing her congregation out about not giving her enough for her birthday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, just John. I'm gonna give you that, Giselle. I'm gonna definitely give you that. You're right. That's valid. I said allegedly. I said it 20 times. I just got to make sure I said allegedly. Allegedly, there are women who are accusing Mary's husband of drugging them and then, having his way with them. Okay. Of course, they've accused the husband of having his own affairs outside of his marriage, which I don't think nobody's shocked by that. Oh, it's okay, Kamisha. Also, her father is a part of Black history. He played a part that's so right. Yeah, that's true. That's true, little baby. That's true. Karen was the one who got Giselle into Jack and Jill. Robin was a member since she was a legacy, but did not maintain her membership. Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I guess when it's all about what it is that you want to do. Like, child, we know why Robin went on the show, child. Robin needed the money, child. We know why Robin went on the show. Okay. Let's be clear. We know why Robin did that. But yeah, we know that basically the producers didn't even want Robin. Giselle helped her get that show. Thank you, Kamisha. Thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. So yeah. So I'm telling y'all, it was explosive. I'm not gonna say I can't testify that everything that was said was true. But what I will say is some of this stuff is not the first time I've heard it. And you see people in the chat that have confirmed some things and brought in some new information to add to stuff make sense, to make the connections and connecting the dots. So I ain't gonna say that everything is a lie either. I can't testify that it's all true, Your Honor, because I won't there and I don't know these people. But I can say that there sounds like a case can be made for some of this stuff to be true. That's all I'm gonna say. I think Cameron had an illness. I think he had an illness. If I remember correctly, Lil Baby, how did Cameron die? I think Lil Baby was the one that told me the first time. I think he had an illness, cancer or something like that. I think. Shanika, you caught a lie, but I'm going to get off. I'm sorry, baby. I'm about to get off in a few minutes. We're talking about Mary Cosby. And so my question was, did Shirelle make her not show up for the reunion? Because that interview dropped earlier this week, baby. And it was hot. It was hot, hot, hot. And I'm wondering if she didn't want to answer some of these questions about the cult and things that came up during the season. I'm just wondering. Let me tell you something, Mocha Lata. Perceived power is a powerful aphrodisiac. Y'all see it all the time. Men that we don't think are necessarily the most desirable, you put a little bit, it ain't even always about the money, it's power. And he was seen as a powerful person. And at one point, lots and lots of money. Now we see that he may not have as much money as he used to, but that's a powerful aphrodisiac for a lot of women. He had a brain tumor. Oh, wow. Yep, you'd be surprised, Mocha. Listen, we see these men out here all the time. You'll be thinking, oh, if he didn't have no money. Politicians, absolutely. Thank you. And that's why I said it's not even always about the money, but that power, something about power. Something about power. Or perceived power. Because everybody that you think got power don't have the power you think they got. Okay. A shame and a scandal. A lot of these rappers are another example. Well, that's that money, child. That's that money. John just say, Just Jonda. You've been dropping a whole lot of tea, and you said you have a podcast. Is it a YouTube channel or is it a podcast that we can find on iTunes or something? Because, baby, you've been dropping the tea, so I want you to be able to put your information so people can follow you, honey. Let me know. Is it YouTube? Is it a YouTube channel? Or is it an actual podcast like on iTunes or something like that? So people will know. Because you've been dropping tea. You said that you broke down a lot of the legal stuff. I want to go and hear it myself. Many of them aren't cute or talented. Nope, but they got money. Or at least perceived money. Short money. They ain't got long money, but they got short money. Some of them got long money, but most of them ain't got long money. Most of them got that short money, okay? And I also want to shout out Chloe Johnson, who was in the chat. Y'all go check her out. She is a YouTuber, content creator. She's got some great stuff over on her channel. If you like Married at First Sight, she does Ready to Love as well. Y'all go check her out. She keeps up with all the tea on the Married at First Sight, baby. All the tea, okay? She done already started dropping stuff. The episode just came on Tuesday, and she been dropping gems already, okay? And as always, you know, my girl Kamisha Reviews, who was in here, I don't know if she's still in here or not. She was in here a few minutes ago. Do not miss us over on her channel tomorrow. Hey, what's up, DC Kool-Aid? Look, I gotta get over there, DC Kool-Aid, and give me some money, honey. Y'all check out DC Kool-Aid and Lisa. They do a lifestyle vlog. They play they play some games over there too. Y'all go check them out. They play bingo and stuff. But they also do a lifestyle vlog. So you can follow them around. They're in the DMV area as well. Follow them around when I think that y'all did a vlog today of going to the grocery store, getting ready for the snow. Baby. Them grocery stores, baby. But y'all check DC Kool-Aid and Lisa out as well. But we will be on Kamisha's channel tomorrow talking about the season finale. And don't nobody say nothing about Ready to Love. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm about to get off of here and look at it as soon as I get off of here. So don't say nothing, please. Don't ruin it for me, please. Don't ruin it for me, please. But we'll be over there talking about the finale of Ready to Love. And then on Sunday, we're going to be talking Selling Tampa. We're going to be talking Selling Tampa. Selling Tampa. All right, so y'all check us out over on Kamisha Reviews. I'm going to get out of here so that I can take care of some other, so I can watch some of this stuff, child, and get y'all some reviews up. I'm sorry. And get these reviews out to y'all. But thank y'all for coming through. I really appreciate y'all. I'm trying to wait for John to, okay, it's a podcast. You can find it on all networks. Let's Be Honest with Just John. Okay, you guys, y'all go check out Just Jonda. She said it's a podcast and you can find it on all networks. The name of it is Let's Be Honest with Just Jonda. And I'm about to check it out myself, honey. I need to check it out myself because you was dropping some bombs in here, honey. But I definitely want to check out the legal breakdown. The legal breakdown that you did. With some of these court cases. I like the legal breakdown because, you know, I watch some of the other lawyers on YouTube. So I definitely want to support you as well. So she's on iTunes, Google, Amazon, Spotify, etc. So y'all go check out Just Jonda. I love me a good podcast. So y'all please go check her out. If you want to follow these things. And she says she's an attorney. So she's got all the legal point of view on stuff. So y'all go check her out for me, please. All right. You did R. Kelly. Okay, listen, I'm here for it. Just Jonda. Baby, I am here for it. I might have to bring you up here sometimes when we're going to talk about some legal stuff. I might need to bring you up here, honey. But if the woman has just as much money as him, she might love him or been since the beginning. Child. This is what I'm going to say. It's different strokes for different folks. Like, it's always somebody for everybody. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, you know, what's it? I haven't, you know, selling it in the ACL, that's a new one too, isn't it? And I know tonight, Ladies That List premiered. So, all right, y'all, let me get off of here so I can get that stuff done so I can get y'all some reviews. And I will see y'all tomorrow on Kamisha Reviews channel. We're gonna be talking about the Ready to Love finale, and I'm gonna get y'all some reviews out tomorrow. I am behind, so y'all be on the lookout for the videos to drop tomorrow. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Happy Friday, happy weekend. If you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And on your way out, please hit that like button. It is free $99. Thank y'all.